Guys, I've actually been up since like 3:30 this morning, and it might look like it's sunny right now, but it's been raining pretty hard all morning. Wow, it's actually really sunny right now. So, Chris and Chris and Zachary, I apologize once again. I had every intention of doing knives today because it was supposed to be nice this morning. I thought it was supposed to be nice, and I just looked at the weather. I was like, oh no, it's supposed to rain all day. I was like, how did I misread that? So yeah, I was going to sharpen some knives, but right now, not happening. I talked to the wife, and I was like, so I got a handful of knives. I don't have like a lot of knives. I got like a day's worth of sharpening, like I said before. Got him, and I was like, so I'd like to use the sink. Can I just use the sink? She's like, no, not happening. She's like, you make a mess that takes days to clean up, and her whole thing is home inspector comes. I don't know, like just little. So she's like, there's a home inspector coming tomorrow to look at the house. She's like, you will have a black, gritty, nasty mess all over everything on the tile, and it does. Like it takes forever to get it all cleaned up. I use water stones, guys. Like some people are like, dude, I sharpen all the time in my house. I was like, great. I guarantee you sharpen like one or two knives. When I get down to sharpening, I'm reprofiling and things. They're just touching up knives. Like, I sharpen my knives all the time. I was like, I bet you're just touching your stuff up. Most stuff that comes in me is coming to me because it's all chowdered and screwed up, and somebody bought a really expensive knives, and well, it can be a scam all at once. I still, by law, have to have a home inspection. Although, I'm not upset with you, Mark. I'm just saying, like, I hear this from everybody. I was like, oh, I wouldn't do it. That's a scam. I'm like, California law says that the buyers have the buyers by law are allowed to have a home inspector of their choice come and inspect. And so it could be a scam all at once. I still got to do it. I mean, they could have forgone it, but the fact is, since they're buying the house as is, we're offering them a credit for like really bad things. Like there's a couple screens to replace. This window probably needs replaced, so we're offering them like a credit of up to like I think $6,000 for little things to fix. There's only like two minor things that are really wrong. Anything that is actually wrong is on the exterior, and the HOA has to fix that. So, but no, I should have known it was going to be crappy all day because I woke up this morning at 3:30 because my shoulders hurt so bad I couldn't stand it. I had to get up. I was like, I can't lay here anymore. And I came out to the kitchen and I was standing here and I was making my first cup of coffee and I was like, is it raining? Because it's dark. There's no street. Actually, to tell you the truth, it's really dark in my garden area, my patio area, because there's no real lights. Like my house sits in a weird area where there's no real street lights. Like there's one way back here, but it doesn't shine in my yard. And then there's one around a corner and one around a corner. And so it's dark. And so I couldn't see out that sliding door. And I turned a light on. I was like, oh, it's raining. Great. My workbench is getting wet. I thought I had a tarp to throw over it. I don't. And the only thing I had is an old grill cover that is about as waterproof as a sock. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to refinish the top of that workbench. I'm just gonna have to sand the crap out of it and wood bondo the cracks, clean it all up. Hope it doesn't completely ruin the worktop. I will say that workbench has held up exceedingly well considering the amount of water that gets on it because of the way I sharpen knives. So, yeah, there's four of us here, only four, and still only 2 likes. I think I actually offended some people in that last live feed. I was talking about forgotten weapons and somebody's like, let's not go there. And then I realized that I lost like 10 subscribers that day. And I was like, oh well, sorry, my bad. But that happens. I see big fluctuations. Like I was at like one set at 5,175 on Monday. I woke up this morning, I'm at like 5,160. So there's channels that, I mean, your channel, your membership stuff fluctuates from time to time because people, inactive accounts, YouTube takes them down and things like that. So still only 2 likes. Guess you guys don't like me. Okay, I don't care. So what's everybody doing? There's 4 of you here. At least have that conversation. I'm just bored, guys. I can't do anything. The wife and kid are at the ice rink getting new tires. That's another expensive thing. Notification came late. Not really. It's only been like 5 minutes. I'll tell you something that I've noticed about notifications. I have notifications on a lot of channels that I follow regularly, just so I can get, like, I get news from different sources, and some of them are like the independent sources on YouTube, and you got to temper that with like the things that they put up. But you can get differing views than just looking at mainstream media. And I've noticed that you guys are saying you don't get notifications. I get notifications, but there's a lot of times I don't get notified of a new video. So I got a couple channels I'll follow, and I get notified of a new video 2 days after it goes up. So, Bradley, am I gonna have to start grounding you and putting you in timeout? Putting stuff up that's inappropriate? That's how it always starts. Always starts with Bradley with something, just like the first thing he does is just something silly and inappropriate. A lot like me. So, I also, to let you guys know, I had somebody send me I took the comment down, and I got in touch with them directly. I told them to email me. I didn't want that comment up on the channel, but they're complaining about the Olight thing, and I'm just kidding. They were complaining about the Olight thing, first of all, and the thing about me, the merch store, and they're like, oh, that you should be putting up and let everybody know that that's what was it? It's a sponsored video or paid promotion, and I'm like, no, it's not a paid promotion. I have an affiliate link. Lots of people have affiliate links in their videos. I was doing a video because this is always in my pocket. I really do like this little flashlight. And then they sent me that light for the Pew Pew. But then they were like, so in the email, then we were emailing back and forth, and they were like, well, yeah, what about the merch store? I was like, it's my merch store. I'm not having someone else's merch store sponsor me. And if you watch, Jared Neves has been putting up a link, and he's using my Olight link, and that's not a paid promotion, or that's him doing me a favor. He's trying to help me get some money, because like I said, I'm not getting paid disability anymore, but I'm still not allowed to go back to work. So I'm in a precarious position right now. Now we did get an accepted offer in house, and I have knife royalties coming in, and I'm working on that DVBE, which stands to make me significant money. But the fact is, those things, I'd rather you didn't even do the letter by letter, to tell you the truth. I really would appreciate if you would cease and desist on that. This is a family friend. I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of my videos are family friendly. There are people that watch these videos and their kids watch these videos. So my daughter watches my videos. So if you could cease and desist with the spelling it out letter by letter, because I don't care how often you spell it out letter by letter. We all know what you're spelling. Now I do say inappropriate things from time to time, but I do try to wither them down, and have been trying really hard to censor myself. Just because it's a good thing. It's just a good thing in society in general. It's a good thing for me, the way I talk, to censor myself. So, but no, like I was saying, like the merch store, me putting my own merch store link in the video is in no way, shape, or form a sponsored video or a paid promotion. I'm promoting my own stuff. Hey, what's up, Aiden? I wish that these had not sold out. Guys, these brass ones, because I have a buddy that has one of the i5T EOSs in aluminum, and it just feels plasticky and light. Even worse when you take the battery out. So this is the double A one, and even without it, the brass one, even without a battery in it, it still feels substantial. The other one just feels cheap. When did he do a video on Knife Center? I mean, like, if you can't get these, Spartan blades are good blades, and I like the guys from Spartan. I think if you find I can't remember if it was I can't remember if it was Blade West, USN. It was one, it is either Portland, I don't think it was Cali Custom Show. It was either one of the shows that I filmed at that I went to for in Vegas, or it was one of the 2 times I went to Portland for a knife show. But I did a video and I talked about the knives with the Spartan guys, the Spartan Blade Works guys, and they're great knives. They're great knives. That's another one of those, like, people know about them, but like I haven't gotten to do really anything because I've never had one come in. I had one come in for sharpening, but it had to go out so fast. I don't know, that's a tough one. It had to go back out so fast from Spartan. It had to go back to the guy that had bought it because he needed it. He wanted it back. He was deploying. He was taking it on deployment with him, and he wanted it sharpened because he had used it, and it was, you could tell he had used it. But yeah, Spartans are great. 7 guys, 7 people here, 4 likes. I'm gonna keep doing it. That's how we get the channel shared, guys. I have a question. Like, I will eat the cost of the purchase if you guys think this is a good idea. So you guys know that these cupboards have been the backdrop for so many videos. I want to do something new for the videos. So I have a way that I think would work for me to put up a backdrop. And what I was thinking about, if you go to the merch store, I'm not pitching a merch store to go buy something, but if you do, that by all means, that's great. I was thinking they have a white, like an opaque shower curtain with the Crazy Sharp Cross Swords logo that I used for Full 30, which is actually the logo that if you watch a video and you see down in the bottom corner, that's my watermark, is the Cross Swords logo that I used. It might wind up being my new business card because I'm gonna take the sharpening service. Once I start the DVBE, I'm gonna take the sharpening service thing off. Now I will continue to use those cards for people that are just contacting me for sharpening. But what I was thinking was, I'll get that and I'll put something up and hang it from it for wherever I shoot, and it'll be me shooting videos with the Crazy Sharp logo behind it. Now, I mean, if you guys don't think it's a good idea, I'm just curious. White backdrops sometimes are kind of rough. Right now, the only color I could get is opaque white. It's a shower curtain. And the reason I was thinking it would be cool was that because then that's that logo, and it would be something like I could come in and filter myself in, like have a shot of it and then bring the, like dissolve in the next segment, but with no real change, where it just dissolves in and then I'm right in front of it. I was just thinking of stuff that would make the channel better. And if I buy it, like my wife's like, well, because I had to buy. Here's the thing, I had to buy the stuff that's coming for me to show on the channel. I had to pay it, I had to pay full price for it. But because I get paid back, I get royalties on all that, I get a portion of the profits, it's like getting it on sale. So, and then I have a friend named Nicole, extremely attractive young lady, has done a lot of modeling, is going to get one of the dresses and she's going to take pictures and so that they look, because the pictures of the dress that they took that are on the merch site, they're not that great. And Nikki is an attractive, petite little young lady, and it's going to be a much better presentation. Trust me. So, big shout out. Like, so you guys don't know, but this is a big shout out. A lot of you guys have followed the channel for a long time. My best friend Clint, who has been in a lot of videos, he got out of the Navy. He moved back to Missouri. He just had his first kid today. Him and his old lady, they just had their first baby today. And I was like, oh, he is in store for so much, not just because of the kid, but because of all the things that he did that got me lack of sleep with my child. Like he bought noisy gifts, and we would go to races and he would feed my kid cotton candy, and then I had to deal with that. And so I'm not gonna do it within the first year, because the first year, the kid is just gonna be obnoxious enough having around the house. Like they are. I don't care how much you love your kid. When you think back on it, you're like, oh, I love my kid. No, they were obnoxious and you didn't get any sleep. And there were times that you're like, there were times that I just went back to work. Like I would come in and the kid be crying and screaming, and I'm like, I would get more rest in my office at work. It's not a lie. Sounds horrible, but you know you did it if you have kids. So, but the flip side of that is, once that kid's old enough to start using these toys, I found a kid-sized bagpipes, and a kid-sized accordion, and there's these things called Yellies, and I'm getting one of every version of the Yellies. for his kid. And these things, their tagline is, the louder you yell, the faster they go. And they interact, and they run around, they bounce. And the louder you yell, the faster they run around. Yeah, yeah. I talked to his dad, and his dad was like, yeah, he's got that coming. He earned that. Yeah, it's raining. It's raining pretty good. Oh! I know there's a lot of O's today, but I've been up since like 3:30, and I've had way more coffee than I usually do. I found out the day that my canopy got destroyed, which is still just laying out there. I haven't like cut it up into pieces and found a way to dispose of it yet, because it's an 8x8 canopy and all of the tubing is bent and busted and one of the legs is gone. We had tornadoes that day in San Diego, and I've lived here since 2006. So you do the math, it's 2021. So how long is that? It's 15 years. I've lived here for the better part of 20 years. And never once have I ever heard of tornadoes in San Diego, period. Not even in the unincorporated areas of the county. I mean, we're right up against the water and we've got mountains against us. It's not a normal place. Whew. Hey, I just got notification that my full30.com order of merchandise has shipped. So you guys are gonna get to see what the coffee cup and the sweatshirt look like. And I'm gonna do it fun. PDM's probably gonna make an arrival in that. I already have that planned out. That's gonna be just a video by itself where I just talk about the merchandise. So don't be surprised or disappointed with the content on that day. Did you guys like the Medford video? I really wanted to, like, that Medford video kind of just brought back a lot of stuff, like working with my Marine friends and stuff like that, and being at Iwo Jima for that 50th anniversary ceremony, and just, you know, it was just fun. It was fun to incorporate all that together. And why are people leaving? We haven't even been at this for 20 minutes yet, and people are leaving. It is ground thinner, yes, definitely. The sea snake is definitely ground thinner than the Lackey. I have both of them. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't carry my sea snake as a neck knife anymore for one distinct reason. And that way I can honestly say that the Lackey, because I love Elliot like a brother, I can honestly say that the Lackey is my favorite neck knife. Okay, so Greg, you got to understand Greg. Greg has no filter. Like, I love Greg. Greg can be a great guy at times. As a matter of fact, I talked to Greg the day that I filmed the video. Not about the knife. I just reached out and contacted him, and I hadn't talked to him in a while, so I sent him a message. He responded back, and I just let him know, hey, I'm doing a video about the... It just reminded me to talk to Greg. Greg can be a great guy, but the thing is, Greg lets his emotions guide him, and I try not to, because over the last 3 years, I've come to the stark realization that decisions made based on the merit of emotion are usually poor effing choices. Oh, but like I said, here's the thing. I'm usually not a fan of his knives. And that knife, really, I was not such a fan of. I, though, also can look at it, and I can do this with a lot of things. There's a lot of times that I can do a video and just give glowing reviews about the build quality and things like that. And then just be able to say, here's the thing. I really don't like the knife. Here's a case in point. The Prolix. I have a Prolix that's going to be a giveaway before long. I have to do, February is going to be the, February is going to either, I think February is going to be the Feldspar. And I may go ahead and, at the request of whoever wins it, offer to ceramic coat the blade for just the cost of the per part cost of ceramic, because D2 does oxidize. And I'm afraid I haven't looked at it. It's been in its zipper case for a while. It may have already oxidized because it's been kind of wet and nasty lately. But with that being said, what I was going to say was, while I can look at everything about the Farron Forge Prolix and acknowledge how well it was done, the quality of the knife, it's still just not a design for me. Same thing with Elliott's. There's another knife that Elliott made, only one, that I don't like. And that was the Scepter. When they were still doing in-house builds, I just did not like that knife. It was a really good seller. It was a really, really well-made knife, and a lot of people loved them. I'm just not a fan of it. So, I mean, I can look at it objectively. So that's where I'm at with the Medfords. You're not going to find an American knife company that does a better job of machining than Medford. You're not. I'm sorry. You're just not going to find one better. You can find ones that are as good. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, and his warranty, like, if you take that knife, I've taken Medfords apart. It pisses him off. I was like, Greg, I've taken Medfords apart and then put them back together, and there's no way you would ever know, because I'm not an idiot. I know how to take a knife apart and put it back together. I'm one of the only, I think I am right now the only person that's allowed to refinish Ferrum Forged knives without voiding your warranty. Like, if you send a knife back that somebody refinished and it's all screwed up, you got to pay for the repairs. If Chris and if you send a knife and they're like, this isn't the original finish, and you say Mike did it, they're like, oh, okay. I don't void the Ferrum Forged warranty when I refinish a knife. And that's because, as Chris said, well, we taught you, so we know you do it exactly the way we do. And I was like, yes, I honestly do. And if I have a question, I ask them, and I don't just shoot from the hip and go, oh, well, I could do this. What was this? I went to Ferrum Forged Design Kick over last 2 months ago. I love all of those. There's another knife he made that it's not that I don't like it. It's just because of the size, it's uncomfortable for me. It's that little mini Odium that they have, and I can't remember what they called it. It's like a mini Odium, or it's the Odium, which is basically a mini. Okay, help me out here. There was a bigger version of it, and it had a name, and it was a very aggressive name. I can't remember, but the Odium. Well, I mean, it's a great knife. It just doesn't fit my hand the way I would want. So it's just not that I don't like it. It's just not a knife. I love the design. It's a great looking knife. I can't carry it. I want to pull something I haven't carried in a while. I don't know what. Somebody mentioned it. I haven't carried my buck in a while, and I love my Ferrum Forged buck. This is the most comfortable small knife, like skinny knife, I've ever handled. And this, I'm going to carry this. Now it's out, and I forgot how much I like the action on this one. The action on mine is just below fall shut. Like, if I were to put a drop of oil on that pivot, and if I loosened it at all, it would be just drop shut. There's nothing there. I like the look of the dowel better than I like the look of the buck. But in hand, I like the way the buck feels. And there's one reason for it, and there's only one reason for it. It's not that it's the same blade shape, just without the point. It's just rounded over. You can go and look. They're basically the same blade, except this one has a wider profile at the top. It's that little bit of extra forward weight. I like that little bit of extra forward weight. I know exactly where that knife's at when I'm using it. I like a little weight forward. I like a knife to be a little bit tip heavy. Larger knives especially, a little tip heavy, so I know where that whole blade is, and I don't have to look to see where it's at. I can feel it while I'm doing work. That's the only reason. The Dow is a more attractive knife. The buck is a more comfortable one. Hang on a second, guys. Don't go anywhere. I have to pause this just long enough to turn off notifications. I'm already starting to get texts. See, I just said don't go anywhere, and somebody went somewhere. What is wrong? What goes on? That was probably Bradley. He's like, oh, he's leaving. No, this is the most comfortable knife that has that skinny profile that I've ever used. It doesn't feel too small. Is that the buck The Buck Knives Fire Tack. I haven't gotten to see one. I don't know what it even is. I have not been a fan of many Buck knives lately, except like the 110 and the 111 Ranger. There's the Buck 112, the Buck 112 Ranger. Those are my two. Those are my two go-to. If I was going to buy a Buck knife, that's what it would be. I mean, they still. I know that they still Hinderer. Oh, okay. There's a Buck that's the Fire something, and I can't remember. The Hinderer recurve foreskin. Huh? Spitfire, that's the one. And I mean, I'm just, as much as I like Buck knives, I like their classic knives. The ones that are the typical, like some of their fixed blade hunting knives and some of their, and both the 110 and the 112. Those are knives that I've carried. And I honestly should go buy a Buck 110. But I just thought about it because I saw it the other day when Trevor was here and we were looking for something. It's in my overflow. Well, I'm not going to go up there. I have a old timer, Schrade old timer that looks with the one that looks like the Buck 110 that Dwayne Smotherman sent me that I have not had out for a while. And it's a nice one. I need to show it. I need to do a video about it because it's got burl handles. It was right before they sold. It was right before Schrade sold out to China. And they were trying to step up their game and they were trying to get a little bit of interest. And they did some off-the-wall cooler stuff. And it's got a, I have one of those too. A little mini Stockman. It's got a clip point blade and then a Warrenclyffe blade and then a little hoof knife. A little short one. I haven't done a video about it, but right before they sold out to China, Schrade did a bunch of stuff. What's up, Ace? Schrade did a bunch of stuff to try and drum up interest, and they added some unique handle materials. They had some burl handles and some better materials, and they were great knives, but it didn't do enough, and then they wound up selling out to China. I'm trying to find a way to get a hold of somebody at Cold Steel for the dagger version of the Stonefish, because I think that would be bomb. I think they would be able to market it. I can't see another company but Cold Steel doing a dagger that would sell the way I designed it. So it's still a thing. I still have those. I have that entire render file. Guys, I'm tired. 3:30 in the morning. I woke up. My shoulders hurt. My shoulders still hurt, but I took some medicine for it. That's why I'm not driving anywhere, because I took a. I actually have a. Because I have enough joint issues, I have a running prescription for Percocet. So I took a Percocet this morning. So I'm not safe to drive anywhere. That's why my wife took my daughter ice skating this morning and will be taking her this afternoon. So, anybody got anything? Anybody want to talk about anything? Hi, guys. Huh? I don't care what they do with that knife, as long as it sells. I've had some conversations with some friends, and they get wound up about certain people and the way they market things. We go, they're just selling knives off your tits. I'm like, if it sells, man. You can't, like if you don't want to do it, don't get. I don't know. That's another thing. So the problem is Artisan isn't ready to release it. But the flip side is Artisan will not let me. Huh? Drop Point Sea Snake is a thing, and I already have it designed and it's rendered. It's ready to go. But Artisan is not wanting to throw another fixed blade on. But the problem is, like, I was originally going to have that done by a different company, and Artisan has now said, no, the problem is that the Sea Snake has done well enough that we just can't let it be a competing design. It's just not, we just can't do it. So it's so similar. It's basically, it's like two models of the same knife. You know, you've seen that before, like two different versions of the same knife. And that's what it is, and I can't argue with them on that. That's true. It has done well enough that it would do them no good business-wise to have it be released. So that's what I'm saying. So we talked about that. Like there's some guys that don't like certain knife designers because they're like, find Corey Campbell at the Microtech guy. Ask him if there's anywhere available through the Microtech. Like, see if they have any in stock somewhere, maybe available at Microtech, because that's the only place I know. And the problem is that knife is one of those ones you would not want to trust trying to pick it up online, because it was one of those ones that was it was striking enough. Corey Campbell, I believe is his name. I believe. Shoot me an email, Greg. Shoot me an email and I'll try and get it figured out. But the thing was, so there was some knockoff DOCs because it was a striking enough design. And I don't know if you've noticed, the companies that knock things off, they go after the things that are like the real visually striking ones, because that's what's going to get your attention. Because if you're looking for that knife, you're going to look and you're going to see that and then maybe bite on it. So I don't know if I would trust finding one of those on eBay. You might find them through like a meetup group or something like that. But the problem is, a lot of people have realized now that you can't get them, that they're a great knife, and they don't want to get rid of them. Like, I love mine. Mine would never go anywhere. As a matter of fact, I should probably pull it out and start waistband carrying it so that I can carry it as well as this. That's a knife that I do carry, waistband carry, behind my belt buckle. A lot, because it sits real comfortably that way. Let's go get that thing. Let's go get that. I haven't played with that. I haven't had that out and carried it. I had it out messing with it the other day. But yeah, there's been enough people now that have recognized the fact that this is just a really comfortable, great, well-made knife that they have, they've started holding on to them, and people will get them and hoard them. Another place you might want to look, PVK. See if PVK has them. PVK sells some stuff that a lot of times is gone. And yes, I did do red ceramic on mine. If this is the first time any of you guys have seen mine, this is just not only attractive, this is just a great knife. This knife was the first video I ever did on this channel, was my Microtech DOC. And so it's a compound grind. It's like mixed Nightmare grind, but it's, instead of being a hollow and a flat, this is just a flat and a flat, just at two different angles. And I'm not gonna lie, it gets ridiculously sharp. PVK says it's out of stock. If PVK doesn't have it, Greg, shoot me an email. I will try to get you in touch with Corey. I've got Corey's info here somewhere, but the thing is, like Jason McCoy and those guys, if they didn't give you their card, they don't want to give. They would not be happy with me giving out their info. Speaking of which, I was going through business cards. No, serrated knives are not great for much of anything except if you cut line. I mean, are they great for self-defense? Yes, but not if you're going to get a serrated knife, you get a completely serrated knife, such as, here we go again, back to the knife case. Like if I was going to get a self-defense knife, it was going to be serrated. There's only one that I can think of. Well, two, but it's by the same maker. And you guys are going to hear me say something I don't ever say. I would recommend that you got a Spyderco if you're going for a self-defense knife that's fully serrated. And that would either be the Matriarch 2 or the Civilian, because these are just wicked devices. And the fact is that this does not require much training, and that was the whole point of the Civilian that this is based on, was that this requires little to no training to use to defend yourself. So the Civilian was originally, TDI is okay, but the TDI, actually, because those guys are from Ohio, they have an actual training course for that. Like if you carry a TDI, there's a training course that goes along with that you're supposed to go to. Like I wouldn't recommend carrying a knife that there's required training involved in as a self-defense tool without going to the proper training. The point of this knife and the Civilian was this doesn't require any training. This is just a swipe. This is just a swipe, like get off me, because no matter where you make contact on that, that reverse S is going to drive that in and then pull that material back. And it's going to lay a vicious, vicious cut on you. And if you've ever cut yourself with a serrated knife, it hurts. It hurts because it's not just one cut. There's like, this is like the knife equivalent of a fucking chainsaw. It's gonna hurt. And so this, no matter where you land and swipe, it's gonna lay a damaging cut. If you get in here, you're laying a lot of big tissue area. In here, you're driving in with that belly and then into the hook. It's just not much of anything required as far as training, except just hold on to it real tight. The civilian was designed for law enforcement officers that were undercover that couldn't carry a handgun, but they went to Sal Glester and said, we want a knife that doesn't require like hand-to-hand combat for these people to use. And that's how this happened. And then the Matriarch 2, matriarch meaning mother and female, you're gonna cut yourself. If you're using a knife, you're just gonna cut yourself. It took martial arts with weapons for years. If you are doing knife fighting, you're going to cut yourself. It's just all there is to it. Like, watch videos about it. Like, I'm not going to get into the intricacies of knife fighting and fighting in general. I took weapons arts in Japan. I took Japanese sword fighting, the kenjutsu, which is the actual cutting with a live blade and using live blades, and the old school sword fighting like Iaido and things like that. Except we used live blades and wood swords. At any rate, back to what I was saying is, this is called the Matriarch because it was based for South African women. South African government reached out and said, we love the idea of the civilian because you have this easy to use self-defense option. It was designed for people that have no training to be able to use that for self-defense. They had so many attacks and rapes in South Africa that they wanted a low-cost version of the civilian, which is an expensive knife. This is a much cheaper version. I got this for my wife, and she just never carried it. It was too, for her, it was too big and bulky. They made a smaller version of this based on the Delica. So this is based on the Endura, as you can see. This is one of the Endura family. If you look at the handle, the pocket clip, everything, that's just an Endura with a much larger curved blade. They made a Delica version of this at one point. There were not a lot of them, which is a good bit smaller. I actually, if I know I'm going someplace really crappy, this is a left-hand pocket carry. Well, glass and ice are real similar in how they work. I mean, you just can't cut anything warm with it. That's the problem. So, well, guys, I'm not gonna stay on here too much longer. It's been 38 minutes. I want to get this area cleaned up before my wife gets home. Like I said, they went skating this morning early, before the sun was even up, and I've been up longer than that. Well, there's 11 people here. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll keep this going till another 5-10 minutes. How's that sound? Because there are people showing up now. So, one thing I have to do. So I spoke to Alex, and Alex is of the opinion that I should give the production stonefish to someone else because he actually purchased a custom stonefish. So the green-handled production version of the stonefish for the members, I will be picking a new winner. Now, the thing with that is, I'll be doing that on Monday. That's my plan, Monday. Can't promise, but the plan is on Monday. I will release that video. I'm gonna open that up and say, if you join and become a member of the channel, I will enter you even though it's kind of outside of the window. And I took the other two off, Luigi De Francesco and Frank Santoro. I took them off because they're no longer members, so it'll be a little bit fairer. I have the actual list of who all the members are, but I will add you in if you choose to join before this week. But I'm not saying like join and then cancel your subscription. I will find that out real quickly, and I will then just pick another winner. I actually have had people try to do things like that. When I had the big I forget what it was I gave away on the channel. I was doing a giveaway. It was kind of a pricey item. Is anyone else having problems with my audio? Anyone else? Anyone? Anyone? Well, my wife and kid have not come back, so I know I'm not connected to my wife's car. So it could just be signal. I don't have crap for signal. I'm on data right now and AT&T. Okay, so that's what I figured. So yeah, the stonefish. I'm gonna give away a stonefish to the members. Alex already said he didn't, and I have to pick another person for that fixed blade custom because I still have not heard from that guy. So, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'll probably try to film that first thing Sunday. I may do it at Matt's house and put it up Sunday into Monday. But yeah, you got to be a paying member of the channel to get the stonefish. And then I will try to get some sea snakes to do as giveaways. I can't promise anything. I have gotten a lot of sea snakes in and have given a lot of sea snakes out to people. What type of knife is your homemade one? What do you mean? It's the same. The custom version is it's the same. It's the same knife. I mean, you can't get any closer. You mean the job site when I worked construction? Well, considering I haven't been there since April 2nd of 2020, no. And you can't film. You got to have your head. Jared's here. Jared, would you film anything on a construction site? You got to have your head on a swivel. You can't be paying. You can't be mussing around with your phone. Matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, my phone is in my car. I don't want any distractions. I mean, there's stuff going on overhead. There's equipment driving by. You got to pay attention. That's why you do a safety brief every morning. There's always something moving. Oh, the orange paracord one? That was a prototype. That was prototype. We're not even gonna talk about that knife because I don't know what's gonna happen with it because it was just a prototype. That was not even a steel I would use for a knife. It just was something for me to do a prototype so I could get the dimensions the way I wanted it so I could send it off for somebody to look at. Oh, dude. Guys with smartwatches. Like, we had a kid, like, we'd be working. We're in a hole digging. Like, deep enough, you got to have a ladder. It doesn't have to be real deep to need a ladder on a job site. But, I mean, like, you physically had to have a ladder. We're in, like, a 15-foot hole. I'm over there digging, and stuff's moving, and this kid's over there, like, texting on his phone. I was like, hey, why don't you put that away before I fucking dig it and bury it? It's like, I say, if I see you with that phone one more time, because the fact is, I'm looking down to dig. If you're not looking down to dig, you're looking to see what's going to hit me in the head and yell at me. I was like, if you're on your phone, you're not watching for either one of us. I said, I see you pull that phone out again. I'm going to throw it out of the hole into the street. So, yeah, that orange paracord one, that's not even, like, that paracord was just what I had available. It's not even going to be orange on the full-blown version. That might wind up being something that gets an OEM. We're not sure. I sent it and a sea snake off to Ready Man, the owner of Ready Man Group, and see if he wanted to see about doing it. And that reminds me, I've got to get a hold of Russell and find out what the MOQ and the cost per unit on those would be. So, all right, guys. My wife said that she is going to stop at the grocery store, and then she wants me to call her because I just got a text. She's the only person she can text through Do Not Disturb. So I have to get off here. I got to call my wife. She wants me to check some stuff. Oh, yeah, at that point, something that heavy, a hard hat does nothing. That hard hat you're wearing does nothing except give them something to put your brains in when you go to the emergency room. Like, yep. I don't think you're putting these back in. So, guys, I'm out of here. Take it easy. I will talk to you all later.